It's 2 a.m. Your phone starts buzzing. A production bug has completely blocked one of your paying customers. You drag yourself out of bed, make some coffee, and open the support queue. First, you need context. Who is this customer? What plan are they on? What changed? You open tabs, jumping between your CRM, your internal dashboard, deployment logs, billing, documentation, and recent incidents, trying to piece together enough context to actually understand what's going on, opening more and more tabs. Now you're 11 tabs deep, and the tab titles have nearly disappeared. You're basically navigating internal systems by favicon alone. Your coffee's gone cold, and the customer's been waiting for 40 minutes. You type out a response and hit send. You look back at the support queue, and there are 14 more. An off-the-shelf chatbot isn't going to solve this. It can't read your logs, it can't access your database, and it doesn't understand your business. This used to be us. So we decided to build our own agent using our in-house Vercel products. The best agents aren't bought, they're built. Hi, I'm Kathryn, engineering manager on the Vercel Agent Experiences team. And I'd like to show you how we completely transformed our support operation to resolve now 91% of tickets, completely autonomously, and how we shipped to production in just 3 weeks. And that was 7 months ago. And since then, it's been running in production, acting as a first line of defense for incoming support tickets. Just last week, it resolved over 7,000 tickets. And in total, it handled over 130,000 cases, fully autonomously. This has saved our support engineers over 5,000 hours every month. And to put that into perspective, that's equivalent of adding 31 additional support engineers to our team. As for our 91 ticket resolution rate, to put into perspective, customers whose entire business is building support agents, and that's all they do, typically do resolution rates of 60 to 75%. And we've so far surpassed that, with just a sliver of their team and just 2 engineers on the project. So I'm gonna show you how you can do this too, and deliver this level of impact to your business by building your own agents using features available to every Vercel customer today. We didn't just build this agent to demo on stage, we built it because we had to. Back in October, our off-the-shelf agent provider informed us they were changing their product direction, and we had 30 days to be offboarded. For some, this would have been devastating news. But honestly, we were already hitting a wall with them. We were stuck moving at the pace of their roadmap. Every time a new model dropped, we needed new features for our agent. We had to wait for it to be slotted into their roadmap. We had to maintain complex auth infrastructure to provide external service with access to internal APIs. And we had constant difficulties keeping their agent's knowledge base up to date with our steady stream of docs changes, blog posts, and change logs. So we spent 3 weeks building an in-house agent to replace the one we were about to lose. But we didn't want to just build a direct replacement. We wanted to build the ideal support experience. What if we built an agent that reads every page of your documentation, reviewed your user's entire history with your product, understood their specific billing plan, knew about last Tuesday's incident, and responded in under 30 seconds at 2 a.m. in any language? That's what we set out to build. The first version we shipped matched the resolution rate of the provider we were replacing, which low 60s. And then we started integrating it deeper into our systems, giving our agent more and more capabilities that our customer support team use when resolving cases. And the resolution rate just started climbing all the way to where we are now, over 90%. So let me show you exactly how our agent was built and how we were able to get our resolution rate to climb so high. Let's walk first through the moment a ticket arrives in our inbox to the moment it's resolved. So first, a ticket is submitted on our support page, vercel.com/help. And here we gather all the context that might be relevant to our agent to enrich the ticket: the user's team, plan, recent support tickets, and any ongoing recent production incidents. Anything that'll influence how our agent investigates. This is the enrichment step in our support flow. Then the agent kicks off its research loop. First, it determines if it has enough information to correctly and confidently answer the user's query. If not, it begins the research phase. And it performs this research loop until it's confident enough to respond. And finally, it either sends a response, escalates to a human, or takes action on its own using its included tool calls. So each of these steps run on a piece of the Vercel platform. Let me walk you through the ones that we used to build our own support agent. First, the agent needs a model loop to reason and respond, plus an interface that we can quickly test and iterate. Building this from scratch means wiring up model calls, tool execution, conversation state, streamings, and retries. All that time spent, and we haven't even started writing our business logic. Following the same principle we do in front-end development, instead of writing up the DOM manipulation by hand, we like to reach for React. AI SDK does that for agents. It gives us a set of primitives for text generations, tool calls, and human-in-the-loop approval. So we're writing our agent's logic instead of everything else around it. We built the first version of this core agent loop in hours, not days. And if we had Eve back then, which is our new framework that just launched for building agents, it would be minutes instead of hours. So here's our core agent loop, just a few lines of code. Once we had our core loop written, capability growth was incremental. Define a new tool, add it to the tool set, and the agent starts using it when appropriate. No retraining, no fine-tuning, just a simple JavaScript function. We were able to quickly get off the ground running with a working agent, but then we needed to build an interface to observe and debug the agent. Beyond the agent orchestration, AI SDK also provides UI hooks to manage chat streams and text completions on the front end, making it quick to wire up a working UI. Once we've wired up the front end, we were seeing an agent reply in a matter of moments with real-time streaming chat, interactive tool calls, and error states. This here is all you need for a working chat with streaming responses, managed message state, and a single hook connecting the front end to the agent. So now that we've got a working chat streaming, we need our agent's response to be generated by a model to kick off our agentic research loop. Customers reach out when they're already stressed. So answers need to come back, even during model provider outages. One model provider can pile up a backlog of stalled, dropped, or incomplete replies and trigger urgent escalations. So if your business has SLA obligations, this is a non-negotiable. So we treat model routing like traffic routing. Always send requests to a healthy path. And that's what AI Gateway gives us. One API with automatic failover, low latency routing, and effortless model switching. If a provider degrades, rerouting is automatic and invisible to customers. With how effortless model switching is, with a simple one-line change, we switched from Opus 4.6 to Gemini 3.5 Flash. And case resolution increased 5% overnight, with faster answers and fewer escalations. So now when a new model drops, we test it on day one and measure the impact on case resolution and customer satisfaction. And that's the entire migration. The agent can reason now, but an agent without access to your systems is just a chatbot. It can't look up customers' failed deployment logs, nor can it pull up their records or recent activities. the best it can do is guess and suggest how the user can troubleshoot the issue. Like how an API lets your front end communicate with your back end, MCPs, or Model Context Protocol, is standard for letting AI models connect to your systems, an API for agents. We connected our agent to Vercel MCP, which enables agents to interact with Vercel's platform features. This gives our agent the exact same tools our support engineers use when resolving tickets. Here's where our agent really begins to excel. By connecting our agent to our MCP, our support agent was able to resolve 15% more cases without any changes to its prompt. So quickly taking a look at our previous agent loop. Here's all it took to wire up the Vercel MCP, giving our agent access to the full Vercel toolset. Customers asking, why did my build fail? And why was I charged more this month? Now get answers grounded in real data from their account. As far as how you can build an MCP for your own internal services, we simply wired up a Next.js app with the MCP handler library. So here's a quick look of what our MCP definitions look like. They simply live in a Next.js route handler file. So inside Create MCP Handler, we simply provide a couple of tool calls and definitions for our agents to discover. Whenever a tool definition is updated on the server, our agent automatically starts using them. By owning both the agent and the MCP layer, we own the full security flow. So no need for complex token exchange systems that you need if you are relying on external systems. That's the kind of simplicity and peace of mind you only get when you build it yourself. Your agent now reasons and can access internal systems. But there's one more thing we need for your agent to answer correctly and confidently: access to your knowledge base. Your docs, changelogs, blog posts, FAQs, everything a subject matter expert for your product would reference. Before the agent can answer a billing question, it needs to check the latest docs to understand your billing policy. When a new feature ships, the docs update, and the agent needs to be able to answer questions right away about what's new. So how do you keep an agent's knowledge current without building complex search infrastructure? This is your run-of-the-mill agent search service, a major distraction from building your business's agent. You know how you can add a database to a project from the Vercel marketplace with just a few clicks? So the same idea applies to search. We use Upstash Search, a turnkey vector search service through Vercel marketplace, to turn our search infrastructure from this into this. Zero maintenance burden. And in less than 10 seconds, we have a production-ready search service. And just like that, we simply ingest docs, changelogs, and blog posts, and the agent can search through all of them for up-to-date context. Fast to set up, no embedding pipeline to manage, and no infrastructure to maintain. This is all it takes for the agent to be able to fetch what it needs to answer questions about Vercel features within moments of a release. So in the docs update, we just upsert the changes and the agent can start using that context immediately. So we're using AI SDK for our agent loop and UI, AI Gateway for model calls and failover handling, Vercel MCP, powered by Next.js and MCP Handler, to connect our agent to our systems, and Vercel Marketplace to set up our search index with just a few clicks. And we use Chat SDK to bring our Vercel support agent easily to Slack. And because this all runs on Vercel, when the agent is just waiting for the model to think, the meter stops, thanks to fluid compute. And for an AI agent that spends most of its time waiting for model responses, function costs are barely there. So now that you've seen under the hood, let's see what this looks like from a user's perspective. So here, a customer is asking why they were recently charged a different amount than usual. Maybe they changed their plan or bought an add-on. So we're using the MCP to pull the team's plan's details, billing, and usage activity. From the knowledge base, we're pulling billing policy and add-on pricing. Next, the customer asks for a downloadable invoice. Here we use a purpose-built tool to pull it from Stripe, since this is a common ask. Finally, the customer asks for an invoice to be modified since they changed their address. Since we saw this was a common ask, we custom-built an approval UI, trivial to do since we own the full agent stack. And here we show a nice confirmation state. This level of UX and polish simply can't be done with just a drop-in chat widget. So when you're back at your desk tomorrow morning, go take a look at your ticket queue. Find the categories of work where 80% of the resolution rate is the same pattern. Pull context from various systems, apply a known playbook, refine until it meets a minimum bar, and then send an answer or take action. That's your first agent. For us, it was technical support. But for you, it might be onboarding, account management, or internal IT. We built the support agent in 3 weeks with a team of 2, using features to every Vercel customer today. If you can write a Next.js app, you can start. Being offboarded by our provider made us realize just how big of a price we were paying by staying. Our support agent costs us less to run than 1 additional support engineer, but saves the capacity of 31 full-time engineers. It outperforms the industry by 20 points. And because we built it ourselves, it's deeply integrated into our product than any external vendor could ever be. Because it deeply understands our products and answers questions about our customers' actual projects. So you'll need to do the work to teach it your domains, connect it to your tools and scope permissions, and to refine it based on how it performs. Our first version resolved 62% of tickets. It took iteration to get above 90%. With Vercel, the tools are out there to build agents easily. You don't have to worry about infrastructure. You can just focus about refining your agents and understanding your business. Remember that 2 a.m. ticket? 11 tabs, cold coffee, 40 minutes to send 1 response, and 14 more open tickets? That doesn't have to be that way anymore. Stop repeating the same tedious work every day and just start building agents. The best agents aren't bought, they're built. Thank you.